Hi friends, this is Andrea Pervu and today I welcome you guys back to a new video. Today we are going to discuss about Mourinho's expected arrival at Real Madrid. So without any further ado, let's get started. In my opinion, in the football world, there are two types of coaches and two figures that I think that really represent these two stereotypes that I have in mind are Carlo Ancelotti and Jose Mourinho. The first type, Carlo Ancelotti or Zinedine Zidane or this kind of coaches, these are coaches that don't necessarily have a dogmatic tactical style, that don't try that much to assert themselves, that they really believe in collaboration and in making the team a friend group. They are more of mentors and man managers, more character managers and all of that stuff. While coaches like Mourinho or Luis Enrique are more dogmatic coaches that impose their style, that assert themselves, that in a way go by intimidating the players. And personally, these kind of coaches don't work for Real Madrid. And I really think that history has proven that, because I really feel like at Real Madrid, the coaches that fit in the first stereotype were the ones that achieved the most throughout different generations of this team. And yeah, there also exists this argument that that Carlo Ancelotti's success and also Zinedine Zidane's success were based on the team that Mourinho formed. But definitely there are many arguments against that also, and I think it's really just on the way you view it. I can definitely agree with the skeptical ones. I can also agree with the ones that truly believe this narrative, but personally I'm more on the skeptical side. So that's the first reason why I personally do not think that Mourinho is the best fit at the moment for Real Madrid, because I don't think, especially with the situation that it is right now, that a coach that has, as I said, a very dogmatic style, that likes to assert himself, that tries to intimidate the players, would actually work with the current squad. And not because the players would talk back, because personally I don't think that they will, because as we know, Mourinho made players like Zlatan to shut up. But it's about the tension that would be prolonged and still present in the dressing room, which I think that this is the first thing that should be changed, that we should get rid of the tension in the dressing room. More so, after the whole Benfica incident, I think that definitely Mourinho's arrival would create more tension in the dressing room. I definitely understand that a coach should defend their player, and I totally understand, but it's about the way he did it. It was a very inconsiderate point of view and expressed in a really racist manner. And with players like Vinicius, Mbappe and Tchouaméni who were the most vocal in this incident, I don't really think that the players will be really open to Mourinho's point of view and ideas. So that's another important issue that I feel like Mourinho's arrival would bring to the table. Now, talking about Mourinho's experience at Real Madrid, he had a really interesting experience here. Every single year winning a trophy, and in 2011 winning the world's best coach. In 2011 he won the Spanish Cup, in 2012 La Liga, and in 2013 the Spanish Super Cup. The Champions League though didn't look as promising as the domestic campaigns. Generally the team lacking the famous ability of the remontada, many times them being intimidated and not being able to achieve these wins. In 2011 they lost in the Champions League against Barcelona on the score 3-1 on aggregate, being knocked out the semi-finals. Then also in 2012 in the semi-finals they lost against Bayern on penalties, and then in 2013 losing another semi-final against Dortmund with the score 4-3 on aggregate. More so as I put a lot of emphasis on the atmosphere. The atmosphere was really stormy at his time here. He had his issues with Casillas. Ramos backed Casillas up. Eventually, even Ronaldo and Pepe admitted the fact that they didn't like the pressure, and that there was a very tense atmosphere around the entire club throughout those years, and that it was quite hard to handle that. But I also have my arguments for his arrival at Real Madrid. And number one is the fact that I don't believe in the idea that he is outdated. I've been hearing this for the past few weeks, and personally I don't agree with that. Yes, his latest years weren't on a big level of football. He didn't coach big teams, he didn't coach in big tournaments, but I think his experience speaks louder, and he loves a lot Real Madrid, and he always reassures that. So personally, I think that his comeback would bring up again that passion of his for this club, and personally I think that he would show up, and I think that if there is a coach that could do that, that's definitely him. So it's true that in the past few years, especially this last year at Benfica, he didn't really make the greatest reputation. In fact, he really damaged a lot his reputation on the football stage, and a lot of people are saying that, oh, he got old, that football left him, and all of that stuff. But personally, I disagree. I think that if he would come back to Real Madrid, he would show up. Now, after everything I said, especially emphasizing so much on the atmosphere and on the players' freedom, I really want to address this point. I heard this a few weeks ago and it really intrigued me in a way, so I really wanted to touch on this. So one of my friends told me that he doesn't think that the players should disagree with the coach's tactics. And personally, I argue against that, because I think that in a club, the most important are definitely the players. They are the ones who play, they have the biggest contribution, and I personally stand by Carlo Ancelotti's tactical philosophy. I think that the tactics should be designed for the players' needs and wants. I think that the tactics should be tailored based on the players' feedback, especially the players' feedback during the game, tailored by their view on the tactical analysis and all of that stuff. And I think that first of all, a coach should collect all of these opinions from his players and then design and tailor the best tactic that would include his dogma and his ideas and the players' needs, opinions, desires, and all of that stuff. And yes, definitely there are going to be many times when your players might disagree, or when part of the players won't want to do what you tell them to do. But I think it's really important to consider their opinions on such a big percentage. And after you finished that tactical idea for that game, you come up with it and it's put out there, I think you should once again ask your players, okay, after I designed and tailored this, what do you guys think? And maybe do some adjustments based on their feedback. And I'm not saying to literally be your player's slave and do whatever they tell you to do, and literally you not having any authority over them. No, if you disagree, if you don't actually believe in what they're saying, definitely you have the last call, you take your decisions. But I think it's extremely important to consider and contemplate over what your players are telling you and over their points of view. And I don't know how much can Mourinho do that. I know he can on a certain level, but I think that's a side where he's going to fail. I think that that was also where Xabi Alonso failed, and I think that that's where Carlo Ancelotti and Zinedine Zidane succeeded. To conclude this video, I'm going to give you my suggestions for the new manager of Real Madrid. In my opinion, the absolute best option right now would be to hire Zinedine Zidane, but this is absolutely impossible because we know how much he wants to coach the French national team, and we know how close he is to signing that. So yeah, he's definitely not going to come to Real Madrid. He will take on to the French national team. But if that wasn't the case, he would have been my first option. My second option, I really think that Didier Deschamps also would fit. Definitely he doesn't have Mourinho's experience, and also he doesn't have Mourinho's prestige, but I think he really fits into the stereotype that I'm describing and that I think it's suited for Real Madrid. Also, he knows the French players really well, and the majority of the team is French and Brazilian, so I think that that would also help. He knows Kylian Mbappe really well. He has a really good relationship with him, and I think that he could handle him. And honestly, if it wasn't for Didier Deschamps, I think that my third option probably would be Mourinho. Personally, I think that the solution for Real Madrid right now would first of all be a big clean out. I think that there are some transfers that should be done, maybe some disciplinary transfers to be done in order to dissipate the tense atmosphere in the dressing room. And Mourinho can be a solution for now, but I don't know if long term. Honestly, I have two feelings. I genuinely think that if he would stay maybe for 2 years. I don't see him staying more, and I don't know, I think that maybe in the second year he could win something. But personally, I have to say that I am a bit skeptical of this move. But still, overall, I don't think it's such a bad idea. I think it can work. And I think that with the options that we have right now, Mourinho can really do a really great job. Now, Arbeloa also, I really liked his tactical view. I really liked his ideas, but I think still Arbeloa was a bit soft. He couldn't fully handle the characters of Real Madrid. He didn't know how to make them become a happy collective and have healthy friendships. But tactically speaking, I think he was a really interesting coach. I really liked his tactics more than I liked, for example, Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso's tactical philosophy wasn't really made for me. I didn't really agree with his decisions. Also, his substitutions, I think that the substitutions really ruined many games. It's true that also Arbeloa made mistakes when it came to the tactical substitutions, but if I would have to choose between Xabi's tactical ideas and tactical philosophy and Arbeloa's tactical philosophy, I think that I would incline more to Arbeloa. Also, his tactical philosophy was closer to Carlo Ancelotti, whose tactical philosophy I really relate to. So yeah, this was it for today's video, you guys. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it to your friends if you think that any of this information might be useful to them, comment down below any suggestion for me to improve and stuff like that, and subscribe to keep in tune with all of my uploads. Okay, you guys, bye!